Episode 71. So it was a big week, I guess. The rest of the Mag 7 reported. Lots of hits, maybe a couple misses. Lots of hits. I wouldn't say misses, but not thrilling. So we'll talk about the rest of an earnings and a couple of other ones thrown in there. And then on to talk a little bit about AI. Again, some big funding rounds came out, I think, this week. Yeah. So that's all we have. Jobs report. Yes. How could I forget about the jobs report drama that went on? But yeah. Okay. So we'll cap off with that.
Man, earnings. It's actually really good in general.
I'm selling my meta at this point.
You're what?
I'm regretting selling my meta at this point.
Did you just sell it all?
Yeah, I sold it all. I just forgot to buy it back when it dropped. That was a problem. Otherwise, I would have been up bigly.
Yeah. I mean, like I said in the last episode, I have been taking profit.
Yeah.
Here and there, like 5-10% every other day. But I still have a big, sizable position in meta. And so,
yeah,
it was good. But towards the end of the week, Friday, the market tanked. Both Wall Street and crypto. We'll talk about that later when we talk about the reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah, earnings was in general good, which means there's a bright future ahead. After we get out of this quick pullback due to what's going on in the economy. So yeah, I'll start with Meta. I mean, Meta boomed, like you said. Let's see, what did they report? So they had a strong Q2 earnings, which beat Wall Street estimates. I think the next day after that, well, after hours, I know it was up about 10 to 12%. And then the next day after that, it hovered around, 5-6%, and then closed Thursday to about, again, 9-10%, and then pulled back on Friday with everything else. But they reported a revenue of $47.52 billion compared to expectations of $44.3 billion. And they are going all in again, or they're reconfirming they are going all in AI, which means one of the notes they referenced was that employee compensation would be its second largest cost growth driver, because there was that news a couple weeks ago that came out where Meta is paying top dollar for AI talent.
It's crazy.
So man, if you were that robotics nerd in elementary, staying home, just tinkering with robots and stuff, and now you're an AI expert, you're set.
Yeah, no, like you've seen those stories about, there was this one offer they put out, I guess. Greg's been talking about his super intelligence super team or whatever they're called. And one guy was offered like $1 billion over 6 years.
That's crazy.
Like literally, it sounds crazy, but yeah, the offer was literally $1 billion over 6 years. That's why it was trending. Nobody knows. All they know is that it was a rejected offer. The guy's currently at OpenAI, apparently. Or some sleuthing was done, and I saw that the guy was on X. Apparently, he used to work at. He's actually a Meta Fellows engineer. I don't actually know what that means, but I know he got it within like 11 years, which apparently is a big thing. But anyways, yeah, so he was offered $1 billion. And he only had to stay for 1 year to automatically bank 100 million.
Yeah.
Crazy offer.
Well,
that's where all the money is going. To increase compensation. It's not going to normal people. It's going to pay these $100 billion pay packages to bring in super intelligence talent.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's insane.
Well, yeah, Meta is up. I mean, for looking at Meta less than a month ago, it's up like $100 since it came down to that low.
That's where I missed.
Yeah.
I missed my price targets by a hair.
They issued a positive Q3 guidance, meaning they're going to make more than what Wall Street thinks. And one of the things was that Reality Labs had an operating loss. So Reality Labs is losing money, but Zuck reaffirmed that their commitment to the glasses and the wearable segment backed by AI is the future. So yeah, that's Meta. You want to sum up Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon kind of the opposite direction. So their earnings weren't terrible, but I think some of the guidance wasn't appreciated, which you kind of assume, right? So Amazon still, even though AWS is a major cloud provider, a large part of their business is still Amazon.com and selling stuff. So let's see, what do we have? So earnings 1.68, EPS 36% year over year. So that beat estimates. Net income was good, 34.8% at 18.2 billion in the second quarter. Net sales 1.67. But yeah, okay, so let's give all the big numbers, but let's see. Top line product sales. This one is a boring readout. I think, or at least the headlines that I saw, is the reason Amazon kind of tanked. It was down like 5-7%, was really because of their cloud business, which is being stolen from Microsoft and Google. So that's never a good thing, as that's actually been the profit driver for Amazon versus their retail business. So yeah, so that was basically in a nutshell.
Yeah. Amazon, it's very interesting. I mean, one of the, and obviously I'm in Seattle, so Amazon is our darling, but one of the biggest companies here.
Yeah,
But it's just so, like, so many unknowns due to where they get all their products from.
yeah.
And I think Azure and Google Cloud are really taking market share, starting to take market share from Amazon.
Yeah, it's like I guess when Microsoft and Google reported, their cloud growth was really good, but AWS was only at 17%, which is like apparently far slower than Microsoft. Azure was up 34%, right? So they were definitely lagging behind.
Amazon's interesting because it's like they have their main things are Amazon.com,
Hmm.
AWS. But what is that next thing for Amazon?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like all the other companies are innovating. Amazon's just kind of status quo.
yeah. And that was one of the things that I think Jasny is also talking about. It's like AI is super important, but I didn't really see like what he talked about, right? It's falling. So he was like, AWS is falling behind AI, and Jasny kind of went off on this AI. I won't call it rant, but just this AI, like kind of like what Zuck was talking about his manifesto. So kind of like a wide ranging. It's like, yes, AWI is what they're looking at. They're looking at tools for developers and features and et cetera, et cetera. But nothing concrete.
Yeah, nothing worth frothing over.
Yeah. Which goes back to, I think, when we talk about AI, it's like where is that moat, right? Assuming that all AI, all these, big hyperscalers can develop AI, but really it's the data they have. Arguably Amazon has a lot of shopping data, but what does that really do compared to like, Meta has their kind of like huge social graph. Google obviously just knows everything on the internet.
I
But what is
mean,
Amazon, right?
Amazon should capitalize on an ad strategy with all
Yeah.
that shopping data, but
Yeah.
they can't. They're kind of blocked by Google and
Yeah.
Meta.
Google, Meta, yeah. And that's been playing out well for Meta, right? They're using it to do more efficient ads or put out more efficient ads. So their advertising business has been doing wonders.
All right, let's go to the next one. Apple, in a nutshell, they had strong Q3 expectations and a 10% revenue growth with record iPhone sales. Interesting.
I thought it's like, really? Record
Yeah,
iPhones?
I know, it's a surprise. And their services segment is continuing to grow. This chart here, and it's like 20% of their overall revenue. And since 2012, services has just been continuing to grow. And services are like Apple Music, Fitness Plus, Apple TV, all that. And so let's see. The biggest thing with Apple is that tariffs are also going to impact them pretty heavily. I think, let's see, I saw something about it. Well, can't find the actual number, but the tariff impact was actually a pretty big number so far.
Oh, he said it was like 1.1 billion
Yeah,
dollars due to tariffs was
just in
kind of
Q2.
just to Q2 was it. Well, I don't know, just to Q2. That's the headline I saw. 1.1 billion was the
Mm.
tariff impact. I don't think it
Yeah.
was projected.
Well, after Apple's report, it went up about 2%.
It's very small.
That's the thing about Apple. It always moves very smallly, but it also declines very smallly. So it's just a very stable that goes
Yeah.
slowly
Yeah.
and then goes down slowly versus these other ones that go down like 10
Yeah.
or 30% in one day.
Yeah.
So all in all, Apple was good, but the biggest thing is Tim Cook acknowledging that they're behind the game when it comes to AI and that they are ready to open up their wallet to catch up, which means they want to acquire an AI company. Then the question
Interesting.
though is which AI company are they going to be able to acquire? Because they're kind of late to this game where all the good ones are not for sale.
Yeah. All the big ones have been taken, basically.
So it's like either you have to pay a huge premium for it to be able to get one. So we'll see. Actually, I downloaded the iOS 26 beta
Oh, did you?
last night, the liquid glass, and a bit jarring at first actually, but and it's only the beta, so I know it's
Mm-hmm.
not yet done, but it is jarring in terms of. However, I think the lock screen had some major improvements, which is actually really good. The biggest thing for me is notifications are all glass and they're not colored. And so I can't quickly identify like which notification is for which app that I care about.
Oh, are they colored? Or do you
Yeah.
mean that my notifications aren't colored?
Oh, mine's are.
You can color them?
Well, they have like the icon right next to them, right?
Right. Yeah, they have the icon.
The icon is colored.
Oh, so even the icons are not.
Yeah. The entire notification is just like transparent.
Oh, okay. I thought they at least kept the icons as whatever color they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Nope. Not for now. And then, they talked a lot about that glass mode that
Mm-hmm.
you can change your phone into the theme.
Yeah.
But what do you use on your phone? Do you use just like normal?
Normal, like dark mode.
I don't understand how people can use the tinted mode where everything's one color. Because again,
Uh,
going back to like the
yeah, I
color
can't.
of the icon, the app icon helps me quickly
Yeah,
find what I'm looking for.
yeah. Now, I've tried things like that before when I had Android like 10 years ago or something, and made it difficult to use. Like you said, I use the color to quickly identify things. Yeah, and everything's like sepia. It's
Yeah,
very, it's like I couldn't find anything. I like have to
maybe it's
search or like scroll and scroll.
maybe it's a Gen Z thing.
Yeah.
What
Well,
is our kids' generation?
It's not Z.
Gen A. Back to A.
Yeah, I think yeah, it went back around.
They're the alpha. Okay.
What's that
All right. You want to
actually?
close this out with Reddit?
Well, we didn't talk about Microsoft.
Oh, we didn't talk. I didn't even see Microsoft.
Microsoft was the other big earnings, and yeah, it was the same, and they both went up like 10% the same day. Microsoft had a stellar earnings report. As mentioned earlier, Azure was experiencing um, huge growth in the business. Azure, especially AI, ended up being 19% of Azure's growth in the quarter, over 3 billion. So everybody loved to hear that. and it's finally surpassed 75 billion annual revenue, which was like a 39% year over year growth. So that's kind of what everybody was anchoring on for that. And then what else was there? I think that was the biggest, that was really the headline. CapEx. We didn't really talk about CapEx across any of these, but the numbers they're spending on CapEx is just kind of insane. So Microsoft was guiding like 30 billion in Q1 for 26. So they are going to be ramping up. I think Zuckerberg was saying they were spending like 85 billion, some insane number like that. So that's going to put pressure on the stock in the long term.
Did
And
you say
then,
Zuckerberg?
yeah,
Yeah,
in Meta's
yeah,
earnings.
yeah.
But yeah, so that was the biggest thing for Microsoft was their Azure growth. I know they talked a little bit about theirs. I forget how they divided up their software side. I didn't really see anybody really talk about that, so I'm gonna ignore it. Yeah, there you go. I find Microsoft kind of boring just because they don't. It's all like it's mostly business oriented at this point, right? Yes, they have their Surface products, but
Yeah.
I don't really think it's just not something I think about when I think about Microsoft at this point.
Microsoft generally is pretty boring, but they seem to blow it out of the park every time.
Yeah, right. And then what's this last one? Reddit's not Mag 7, but it's kind of like this sore point since we've talked about it way back when they first IPO'd at like, and it went down to like $50. And we're like, yeah, we should buy Reddit. But yeah, it's topping nearly up to $200 now. And this is not even a year ago. But yeah, Reddit, stellar earnings powered by their advertising business, which I feel like came out of nowhere. Like I don't remember them really talking about it way back when it first, and that's what I was like, how does gonna make revenue? They're just selling their stuff to Google, their data to Google. Um, but no, they've managed to I wouldn't even say turn it around. Maybe we just weren't paying attention. But anyways, their ad business brought in $465 million, which is 93% of the company's total revenue. Which I don't know, it's
Crazy.
good and bad, I guess. Like in a recession, maybe it's bad. Uh, but anyways, so they are powering ahead. The other thing he called out was they're going to focus more on their search business. And I say search business meaning searching on Reddit.
Within Reddit,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, which is they're going to focus more on because they think that's where there's more value versus getting all their traffic from Google. Which is an interesting play because we've talked about Reddit has very unique data that could be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so
Oh, congrats to Reddit. Yeah, I remember us talking about Reddit and the IPO, and that's all right. We got some other good plays.
yeah. Oh, IPO, quick IPO news. Figma
Yeah, let's talk about
IPO'd.
Figma.
Yeah, Figma IPO'd this week. It was opening price at $33, but quickly shot up to like 100.
Well, you couldn't even get it at $33.
I got 4 shares.
At
Thank you very
33?
much. At $33.
I mean, what platform did you use? Robinhood?
E-Trade. I did E-Trade on this one.
So you just did a buy market?
No, so you've done IPOs on the brokers, right?
Yeah, you did that.
Yeah. So you kind of like put in your bid on what you would pay for the price. Put in like $35, and I got 4 shares. Asked for 200 though.
You asked for 200 and got 4.
Yeah.
So you
Maybe I should have put in like $40 or something, or $50 instead.
you asked for 200, but you only put in $50.
No, so I put in $200 at $35.
Oh,
But I should have put a higher price because it's like an auction, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
No, I sold it.
At
It
where?
went up to 150 to
Just
like
load at
$140. Yeah. Once it crossed 100, I was like, all right, I'm going to get rid of this. There's only 4 shares.
So you made $800?
Yeah, about
Yeah,
that.
around there.
Yeah. I mean, if you just think about it, from 33 to like anywhere over 100, it's like, why wouldn't you sell? That's just insane.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
a better strategy would have been to scale. Sell one.
off 4 shares, it's just like, if I had like, a couple hundred, then yeah. But, Kathy Woods obviously buys it I feel like
Yeah.
she FOMOs a lot. But apparently she bought like 60,000 shares of Figma on IPO day. Open market. Not even at 33. So that's probably part of why it went up that much.
Yeah. I mean, good job to Figma. I think I stayed away from it. I don't know. I just haven't been paying attention to it really. I didn't actually think it was going to go up that much.
I don't think
But
anybody thought it would. Well, I mean, it was oversubscribed by 40x. So I think that's the only reason why I was like, I'll try it because when an IPO is that oversubscribed, it's going to spike
yeah,
over its offering price.
I need to send you this like TikTok I saw or something.
Hmm.
I was talking about how much of a scam IPOs like these are.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
Have you
been
seen
running
that?
around on. Yeah, it's been running
Okay.
around on. Yeah, I've seen many posts on it, and it's by this Figma IPO, which for people who not too familiar, so like for instance, the IPO price was at $33, right? So this is what employees, the inside holders got, but then these investment banks turn it around and kind of like dish out this to like their clients or whatnot. And so when an IPO opens, let's say $100, right? That gap is kind of like money left on the table by the actual Figma investors. Meaning,
Yeah.
if I was an employee, they could have IPO'd the price at $100 instead of 33, and I would have
Exactly.
gotten more as an employee.
And it's all
Um,
because, based on the financials and stuff, that's what the banks are saying your shares are worth.
yeah, yeah,
So the banks are in control of everything pretty much.
yeah, yeah. And so you kind of like lose the company itself loses out on that, um, which is
Yeah.
different than like, oh well, the employee could just sell it on the open market. Well, it's like that initial like the initial money that the company gets itself is based on that 33, right?
Oh yeah, an employee can't sell it right now. Usually in an
Yeah.
IPO, there's like a 3-month waiting period before an
Yeah, there's
employee
like a
can actually
blackout
sell
period.
stock.
Yeah.
So it's
But yeah. Yeah.
but
But
I mean,
anyway,
at the end of the day, though, as an employee, even an early employee, you're still making a pretty good amount at an
yeah.
IPO.
Yeah.
But it's all just like you could have made so much more. The banks win.
Yeah. But yeah, so assuming it holds its price for the next few months, there are going to be a lot of newly minted millionaires out of Figma. So congrats to that team.
Yeah, I think the
Kind
next.
of wish I
Okay.
would have done better on my interview, but oh
Oh, you
well.
interviewed at Figma.
Yeah.
Well, I think another one to look forward to. We should keep an eye on it. Is Canva because they should
Canva.
be IPOing soon as well, and I
Mm,
would imagine it would have the same frothiness as Figma since they're very similar.
yeah.
I'd argue Canva is probably more known than Figma outside of the tech world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. A lot of small businesses. You'll see a lot of TikTok influencers talk about Canva.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that'll
don't.
be
There's no
interesting. That'll
date
be
of when
interesting.
the IPO, but I would imagine they're thinking about it soon,
Yeah.
especially since Figma performed well.
Yeah. Yeah. Since the market is doing so well, they'd kind of be silly not to try an IPO during this window.
One last thing related to the earlier conversation and Reddit.
Hmm?
As we were talking, and I was like, I think this might be a good. It's coming to a point where it's probably a good time to short now. Because, like what you said, if a recession happens, that's
Mm-hmm.
not good for their business.
Right.
Ads are 90% of their revenue.
Yeah.
And going into our topic at the end here, there's thoughts of recession, right?
Yeah.
So I'm actually thinking, there's a short strategy on Reddit now since they blew out earnings and said that
Yeah.
they're heavily tied to ad spend.
Yeah. I don't know. It held up so strong yesterday, even with the market dive. Like it was literally one of the only things that was green the entire time and went up. So there's a lot of FOMO
Well,
going on
that's
with
the
it.
thing. Like the things that go
Yeah.
up, the highest fall the
Yeah.
further.
I need to learn how to sell puts when a stock spike like that. Or sell calls when
All
they
calls.
spike like that. No. I need to learn
But you
that
need to
better.
have it secured. So you need to have like 100 shares of stock.
Yeah. I don't have any stock, so once it went to the ones, yeah. I was like, another miss. I should have known.
Well, talking about these valuations and think Figma was valued at like 40 billion or something.
No, it was like 20 billion. Like
Yeah,
basically what,
like 40, right?
yeah. But it was basically what Adobe's like buyout offer was 20
Yeah.
billion. And so that 33, 35 ended up just about there. But now that it's 140, whatever, it's kind of like 4x. Let's just call it 4x.
So the money is coming back, and I mean, obviously it's starting with AI and some of these well-known IPOs, but there's this infographic I saw talking about the biggest AI deals of 2025, and it's current up to July 8th. But we had OpenAI, who did 40 billion at a valuation of 300 billion.
Mm-hmm.
We had Scale that did 14.3 billion at a valuation of 298 billion. Uh, XAI, which is Elon's AI arm, did 10 billion at a valuation of, what is that, 80 billion?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. And previously Scale was 29 billion, not, sorry, it's like small. Anthropic, we talked about that, 3.5 billion at a valuation of 61.5 billion, and a bunch of other AI companies. But it's pretty interesting looking at this infographic too, because you can just see all the people who are involved in the rounds, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like all different companies trying to compete with each other
Yeah.
to fund these prominent AI companies.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of Anthropic, this was like, I think it was like yesterday, or the information was talking about Anthropic had a new mega round, which they're looking to raise like 5 billion. I know you called out Anthropic at like 61, but yeah, basically it's doubled their valuation now to 170 billion. Um,
Crazy.
so yeah, so it's a hot market. And then OpenAI, still $300 billion valuation, but they have like 8 point, let's just call it 8 billion just around in new funding that they received. People are piling into. God, those numbers are insane.
Yeah.
But anyways, there you
All right.
go.
Well, let's close it out with our last story, jobs report drama.
It's so
So, as you
good.
all know, I'm sure we had a horrible jobs report on Friday, which is why the market tanked after going up for so many weeks. I looked at my portfolio and I was like, but it wasn't, I mean, it was bad, like
It wasn't.
thousands of dollars lost for me personally in one day.
No, no.
I would say not lost, declined.
I mean, it was like a 1.5% pullback, which if you think about the market is up like what, 30, 40% over just 3 months,
Yeah.
even. Yeah.
Stocks are still pretty high, but I'm glad it happened because it's needed. It was mostly due to the fact that the jobs data came in well under what economists wanted
Well,
and
and it was
expected,
also, it was the revisions though.
and the revisions from the previous months. So
Yeah,
in
which,
general, Q2 was like pretty down in terms of jobs available, right?
yeah. Well, it was like, so the initial jobs numbers was already bad. It was like, what, in the tens of thousands where people were expecting 100. But it was the revisions that really shook the market because it was revised down to basically show we had no job growth over the past 3 months, right? They revised it down by 250,000, which was definitely not expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I was learning more about why this happens, and I guess just like when they like Friday's jobs report was a, I guess, preliminary or estimate.
Hmm.
And then as more data comes in throughout the months, that's
Right.
why they get revised.
Yeah.
Some TikToker I was watching said it was like one example is like you send out surveys
Yep.
and they don't get answered in time.
Yep.
But then my question is like, if the survey is not answered,
Hmm.
couldn't it only go up? Like, because you have surveys that come in that say, no, we had this many jobs.
Yeah.
You have the number.
Yep.
You wouldn't, I don't know how it all works, but it's
That's why
interesting.
that's why they're estimates, right? And then the estimates. I mean, the same thing happened during Biden's
Mhm.
um, term, right? And I think for some reason people are forgetting that, and they're using this as like, oh, it's another Democratic thing, which I think goes into your main talking point, which was Trump fired the
Yeah.
person
Well,
responsible for this.
before we go back into that, and so there's a fears of a recession, right? because of this. Like, there's fears of a weaker economy, which will mean a recession, which means uncertainty for, companies in the future. Is that? Yeah. So yes, then we go into the political thing with Trump then firing the head of the Census Bureau.
Yep.
Sorry, head of Labor and Statistics Census Bureau.
Yep.
Saying that, accusing her of fudging the numbers.
Yeah.
To make him
Accusing
look
her.
bad.
Yeah, because she was a Democrat. Yeah, he basically accused her of faking the numbers to hurt the administration. Unfounded, of course. And as I said earlier, the exact same things happened during Biden's administration. Was these, they had revisions down. And it's also ironic. It's because Trump keeps talking about wanting, the Fed, Jerome Powell to reduce rates, and you want weaker job numbers to have the Fed cut the numbers, right? Which is, it's like, it's just so insane. Like, he keeps talking about GDP growth is great. America's doing great. We're bringing in all this money. Jobs are growing. And that's the exact type of market where you don't lower interest rates, right? Because you don't want to fuel inflation. But anyways, so yeah, so I think this leads to bigger issues, that he's fired this person who's basically a statistician who just crunches the numbers. But because he didn't like him, he fired her.
Yeah.
So what does this mean going forward is, now that he's done this, I think any number that comes out of the government, you have to be skeptical about, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, he only wants numbers that he likes. And so how can we believe any of the numbers that come out of the government going forward now that he's done this? So the credibility of the government, I think that's in question now.
Totally. Man, Tony, we're only like 6 months in too.
It's felt like it's like, yeah, I know, right? Only
It's
been 6
3.5
months.
more years.
It's insane.
Well, and then the
Yeah.
other thing is the tariffs.
Full force, that's right. We had kind of Liberation Day Part 2 on August 1st, where they all basically went into effect.
Well, did
Hasn't
you hear
been.
the fine print though?
No, I was going to say it hasn't been tacoed yet, but does the fine print taco it?
Well, a little bit. But the fine print is basically the executive order was signed and it was said 7 days from when this executive order was signed, tariffs will go into place. Well,
Okay.
tariffs will go into effect. So basically, it's like another squeeze, right?
Okay.
You have 7 days to
Yeah.
come to the table. If not,
Okay.
then you'll have 3 days. If not, you'll have 1 day.
Okay. I haven't seen anybody mention the fine print, but that also didn't help and kind of set off the markets.
And the submarines.
And the 2 nuclear submarines being parked off the coast of Russia.
Yes.
Like, I mean, at least he announced it versus doing it secretly. Maybe that means it's not serious, but, anytime a president tweets out, we're parking 2 nuclear submarines off the coast of the biggest nuclear powers in the world, it's not a good signal. So we'll see.
So I think the market's going to be in a bit of pain for the next few weeks, but I think it's going to kind of rally hard once everyone processes this news and it goes away.
Yeah.
So I think I'm thinking like end of August into September is going to start to be good time to go back up. And so I am positioning myself appropriately, like adding some things, increasing some positions slowly since I had some money on the side from taking profits. What are you doing?
Yeah, I looking for buying opportunities, but that's pretty much it. I agree. Hoping meta dips, and so I can actually get my position restarted there.
What are you looking for? Like 690, 680?
But yeah, at this point, maybe something like 650, but we'll see. I need to go back and look after this recent run up. It's an expensive stock too. I think that's what Zuckerberg needs to do in the next earnings, is announce a stock split.
Yeah.
Because once you're over $700, it's just not an easy stock to buy for most people.
Yeah. Related to that, Netflix came down to
that was a good call. I know we've been talking about that for a while. I almost forgot about it.
I was very tempted to start a position at the 1100 to 1200 area, but I was like, Usually
So
when I do this, it
expensive.
goes down more. So let me just wait for it to come down a little bit more.
Yeah, I can buy like what, 10 shares, even at like $1,000. So expensive.
It's very
Or
expensive.
not it's not expensive. The price makes it feel expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's down quite a bit too.
It's like 30%, right?
Yeah. So that's one thing I kind of look at is like the drawdown from its all-time high. Not always the best thing to do. For example, I did that with TDD. It's like, 30% down from all-time highs. It's going to go back up. That's not the way to approach it because it can always go down. Oh, yeah. Have you seen United Healthcare? Everybody is talking about it because it's down so much. People are like, oh, this is an easy buy. But it's like a word of caution is that it can always go down more.
Mm-hmm.
Don't catch a falling knife. That's
Yeah.
all I can say. Don't catch a falling knife.
And it's not financial advice for entertainment purposes only, but
Yep.
this is our thoughts on what we're doing in the market.
Yep.
So hope it helps. All right. 71 in the books. We're getting to the 100 centennial.
I actually can't believe we've put out 71 episodes already.
Content is king, right? All right. We'll talk again next week. See you, Tony.
See ya.